You
I got
did
10.
this
I got
thing.
10.
All right. You separated Jay-Z, the capitalist slash businessman, from Jay-Z, the artist, and then you named Jay-Z the father in your
Yes.
article. And then I started thinking, oh, and Jay-Z the husband,
Husband.
and Jay-Z the regular black guy, and
Hmm.
Jay-Z the swagalicious black guy. I started
Yeah.
thinking about these various forms of Jay-Z, which made me think there's in therapy, it's like parts work. It's like, what part of you is this? Like, what's going on in this part of you? And I do
Yeah.
parts work with a lot of my clients. So to be like, okay, so they'd be like, I'm not ready today. I'm looking like, which part of you is not ready? They're like, well, my head is not ready, my heart is not ready, my belly's not ready, my coochie is not ready,
Uh-huh.
right? So it's like, what is the readiness of all of these various parts of
Yeah.
your body, right? And we'll like talk through each part and what each part
I
is
love
saying, and
this.
we be getting into it. I'm telling you, I'm an excellent therapist.
Okay, because you eating right now. When I tell you taught me some things, but it's so funny too because I'll let you finish your point because I had to do some similar things of like who is Marquise, who's Marquise Davon, the creator, who's Mr. Richards, and how I'm
Ooh,
not necessarily nurturing like here's the educator, here's the creative, here's a son, brother, human. Where are those like how do those worlds exist? And sometimes if I'm giving too much of Mr. Richards, that means I'm too much like I tended to be too much in service, and which meant I
mm,
was sacrificing self. And so it's like interesting to kind of hear where we're gonna go with this as it
yes,
relates to Jay
'cause
Z, Hove, Jigga, Sean.
yes, and especially because he did like the so-called ego death, right? Like
Yeah,
we watched
multiple
him kill
times.
Jigga, we watched him kill Jay-Z, and we watched him become Sean.
Yeah.
Like we watched his evolution. He killed them. We saw it, and it's like okay. And then like there's a piece of me that's like I remember from what is that song like. Me give my heart to woman, not for nothing, never happen. I'll
Yeah.
be forever macking, right? And then he got married, and I would just throw that line out every now and then. I'm
Whole
like
time.
forever macking. This man is married, and then he cheated on his wife, and I was just like forever macking for real.
Okay.
Look,
You
but point
can
is
say he
that
wasn't
like there's
consistent.
these parts, right? And it's like there's also a version of these that is kind of past, present, future, right? So like
Yeah.
also timed pieces of it all, which got me thinking about like when he started talking about the rap beef between Kendrick and Drake, and he was
Yeah.
just like, this is like does this even have a point anymore? Because now we out here destroying people's families, and I felt like it was Jay-Z the father that was
It
talking.
was. It
We,
was.
I was just like, the father is speaking, and a lot of people online was just like, he a hypocrite this, he a hypocrite that, and I was just like, do we not allow people to grow?
Oh my gosh. Can we talk around like the contextual collapse that tends to happen? And
Bring it.
for those like listening, is like there's context that everybody has context around them. Who are they? Where did they go from the decisions they made in their earlier years to who it is? So it's very
Mhm.
funny that in the same boat of Jay-Z kind of talking about having to game the system and having to do this and the system changing, he himself changing, but he doesn't know how those things can run parallel to one another. And so even as he's talking around, yeah, me and Nas had a beef. My mom made me go apologize to Nas for what I said to him because we forget like that happened during the beef. And so even in that, it was a sport of hip hop. And so I think it is very funny because there's an acknowledgement that the world is changing, and there's almost a part of like I live so much life that I don't know if this is necessary. I don't even know if he meant. I don't even try to assume what he meant. But is there a value in him beefing with anybody anymore? He says Nas is a nice guy. I like Nas. Cool. Or is this actually helpful to the culture? Because it often reminds me of when older black folks are like, we can't do that public infighting because what are we going to be doing? Is that going to give white people permission to see us as different? And so it's funny because almost in that comment, as I read it again, there feels like a moment of like, respectability that comes along with the commodification of hip hop. So now we can make it only so much. We can't talk around the gangster rap that was actually happening. We can't talk around the violence that is associated with it. We can't talk around the social justice that was associated with it. And so it's like very interesting to kind of think around how he sees it now, but also very interesting that in this beef, if anything, when he as it relates to like Kendrick and Drake, it's also talking around like what happens to hip hop in its purest form and what it was intended to be. But what happens when hip hop has the McDonald's, when they turn it into the McDonald's of the industry, what happens when it no longer has a substance that it normally was anymore?